Yes, people. Welcome back to GNA TV. And before we move forward, let's cue that intro. Yes, people. Welcome back to GNA TV. And I hope you guys are all well, wherever it is that you may be around the world of the world. The world of the world. I'm sweating. I'm hot. I don't know what it is like where you guys are at the moment, but it's so humid at the moment. And yes, I've got a bit of colour. I went full park yesterday, hence why I wasn't on a watch along yesterday. Which again, thank you guys very much for tuning in to as well. But before we move forward, please smash them likes. Yeah, please share on all your socials as well. Please share on all your socials. Please, like the video. Subscribe if you're new to GNA TV as well. We're on our road to 1.5k, which is a massive achievement for us in such a short space of time as well. Let's just delve into this because it's been quite interesting, especially in the last hour or two. Obviously, there's been talks about. We're going to talk about Haaland. We're going to talk about Hakimi. We'll do a little talk about Grealish. I'm going to put the link in the channel in the chat for you guys to come in and have your say. But we're going to start quickly on the Hakimi news. Now, the news coming in on Hakimi is that Chelsea have put an improved bid in for Hakimi. There's also talks about cash plus player. Obviously, one being Emerson. But there's talks now being read out, which I'm going to share with you guys, which was actually yesterday. I don't really know if anyone actually brought it up on YouTube, but let's see if we can do this. If it wants to share with me. Computer's very slow. There we go. Is it shared? Can you see it, guys? There we go. Right, absolute Chelsea, one of the biggest socials on the game. Chelsea defender Marcos Alonso is now a top target for Inter Milan. He would be requested ahead of Emerson if he was included as a part of a deal for Achraf Hakimi. Now, when I first saw this, I thought to myself, that's probably better for us. And the reason I think it's better for us is I think we would probably get more money for someone like Alonso to go to Inter Milan than we would for Emerson. I actually prefer if we was to keep out the two and Emerson anyway. I think Alonso just doesn't offer enough. If that makes sense. I don't think he does offer enough. And I think if it can possibly be done, if it can be done, if we can push it, and if we could maybe get Alonso out, because for me, Alonso is a waste of time. Honestly, I just don't see the point of Alonso. But would you guys be happy with Alonso going out the door rather than Emerson? That's my first question for you guys. Alonso over Emerson to Inter Milan, plus cash for Hakimi. Do you want to see Chelsea make that deal done? Let us know in the chat. Let's quickly have a look at what you're saying here as well. Big up to everyone in the chat. We've got Nathaniel here says, "Where's this Tammy Haaland news from?" We will be getting to that very, very shortly. This Haaland bid we're going to get to. I know people are still asking the question. It's only literally came out an hour ago, the Haaland news. We will be touching base on it. It's going to be the next thing we talk about. Big up to Lambs as well. Just smash the likes. People, let's please smash them like buttons. Big up to the Beautiful Game. Big up to Conti Ball. You're not getting Haaland. He's too big for you. Josh, he'd probably go to Chelsea more than Arsenal 10 times over, mate. That's all I'm going to say. That is all I'm going to say. Hakimi doesn't want to come. Yeah, and there was also talks, staying on the role of things, there was also talks about Hakimi preferably wanting to play for PSG. But that may be out of his hands because I feel like PSG can't offer what Chelsea can. And there's players that Inter Milan want from Chelsea more than what they want from PSG. Chelsea have a bit more ammunition in the tank to be able to offer other individuals, basically, which makes sense. Don't get me wrong. It makes sense. And yeah, I mean, if Hakimi wants to play for PSG, I'd be very surprised because for me, he's in a position where he's at the top of his game, one of the best, or if the best right wing back in the game at the moment. He's got the opportunity to come into the Premier League, which is probably the most exciting league in the world. Yeah. Yet you want to go and play for PSG in the French league, which, don't get me wrong, has improved. Yeah, but you're not going to be fighting. All right, you'll be fighting on a couple of cup competitions and league competitions, but at Chelsea, you'll be fighting on all four fronts. All four fronts, you know. And plus, we're the European champions. Like, who would want to play for the European champions? Let's get it serious. Let's have a quick look at what else you are saying. Aston Villa is better than Arsenal, is what Santana Man is saying there. You guys are really taking the piss out. Josh, you've been here 2 seconds and look what you've done, mate. Look what you've done to the chat. All I can see is Josh. My question to you guys is Hakimi to Chelsea. Would you be happy to allow Alonso or Emerson? Who would you rather leave the club? Because there's talks here, as you can see from Absolute Chelsea, basically saying that you know, Inter Milan are more preferably interested in a Marcos Alonso deal to Inter than an Emerson, which tells me that he's more favoured for their style of football and what they're doing. Now that source comes from COR Sport and obviously Sempreinter.com, who, to be fair, are one of the most reliable sources in terms of Inter Milan news from what I understand. And these lot are huge. Absolutely huge, massive company in Italy as well. So, you know, that possibly for me can be true. And if it happens, then why not? Like I said, Alonso going's not the end of the world. And if we can bring someone that is that good, then, you know, people tell me to go to Simon Phillips. Scott, tell me what Simon Phillips is saying, bro, in the chat now, and then I'll bring it up. But that's the Hakimi news from what I understand on that. Chelsea have improved their bid after Inter Milan slapped it back in their face and pretty much said not interested. So the talks are now that they are interested more with Chelsea because they want one of our players. So you might see an Alonso preferably leave the football club as well. There's 25 of you here right now. Please smash that like button, and we will move on to the next big thing, which is this one here. Now, this one here, Erling Haaland to Chelsea. Chelsea have supposedly bidded around 70 million. Yeah, 70 million pounds, which I still think is quite short, and offered Tammy Abraham on top of that. So, from what I understand from this one, right, and it was absolute Chelsea again. So this fight to the top quickly, just to give you a quick understanding here. Absolute Chelsea. The source is from a guy called Ekrem Connor. So he's basically a transfer journalist, a Turkish transfer journalist, funny enough. But he's doing a lot of journalist writing in Italy. So he does a lot of work there. He works for these two companies here who are pretty much legit, quite big firms as well. Once Vatan Gazette as well. So, you know, yes, it has come from a source that maybe is not very recognised. So it's not like a Fabrizio Romano type of person that's sort of announced it. But the fact that Absolute Chelsea have shared the source potentially shows that there might be some sort of truth to it. Now, I think if Chelsea are offering 70 million and Tammy, I reckon that how much do you think they're valuing Tammy at? Because he surely can't be more than 50 mil. He surely can't be more than 50 mil. So if Chelsea are offering Tammy plus 70, you're looking at 89 like nearly 120 to 130 mil. Chelsea are putting forward. Now that is under the asking price that Dortmund are looking for Haaland. They want 150 mil minimum to start with. They're looking for 130 mil, 150 mil minimum. Now you telling me that Tammy Abraham, they're rating him nearly 80 mil? Because I don't think that's possible. 80 mil for Tammy Abraham. What are your thoughts, guys, on this news? Do you think this is a potential? There's potential truth behind this. Do you think that Tammy Abraham could supposedly be used in the deal, or do you think there's other players? There's been talks about Callum Hudson-Odoi potentially being another player. You know, Conte Ball says it straight here. He says just paid the 150 mils. I see a lot of people on Twitter saying Chelsea are moving a bit like Man United. You know, if this is true, if this comment here is true, that Chelsea are trying to offload Tammy Abraham. I mean, yeah, exactly. 80 million for Abraham. What's is the market? I agree. 80 mil for Abraham just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. You know, I hate this. I've got things coming up in the background. Sorry, guys. Yeah, let's read some more of your comments. Someone's saying read Simon Phillips' news. Can anyone tell me what Simon Phillips has recently just said? Go and check on Twitter and let me know if there's anything worth actually checking as well. It's just a start to see where Dortmund stand. And I think it really is that, Taddy. Like, I don't think Chelsea are thinking to themselves that they're going to get away with this deal. I don't think Dortmund, in their right frames of minds, are going to accept 70 mil plus a Tammy Abraham. They might accept a Tammy Abraham. They might accept a Tammy Abraham. But to be honest, to accept a Tammy Abraham, they're going to need at least, Chelsea for me are going to have to raise their bid to at least 100 mil cash. That's what I think. 100 mil cash and Tammy Abraham on top. Maybe even more. Maybe 110, 120 mil for it. You know? Fabrizio is a retweet merchant. To be fair, Fabrizio is usually always quite legit, isn't he? And that's why people love him. Santana Man saying Tammy is 20 million, which is quite funny. You really think they would take 70 million on Tammy? No, but I think if there is any truth to this might just be the first steps of Chelsea trying to negotiate, trying to bid, trying to understand what they want. You know, Dortmund want. Chelsea have a proposal on the table and have agreed personal terms with the player via Simon Phillips, is what they're saying there. So the Chelsea Extra TV, which let's have a look. Let me see if I can find it. On my Twitter. So let's go to Simon Phillips. All right. Let's see if we can find this news about Simon Phillips. Let's go. See what I mean? It's all happening now, guys. It is all happening now. Please smash that like button. Let's try and get to 30 likes, 40 likes, please. It'd be massively appreciated. I don't see any news from Simon Phillips on here, on Twitter. Let's have a look. So what people were saying. Oh, right. Okay, let's have a look. Thanks for that. Who just sent me that? Scott. Thanks, bro. Scott's just tweeted it to me now, so he's actually live watching this as well. It's annoying because you know what? You try and prepare for these kind of things, and then something just pops out, and here it is. I found it. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, this is the most recent news that I can bring to you guys on here. Let's quickly share this. Seems to be coming thick and fast. So for Chelsea Exeter TV have just announced that, 4 hours ago, announced that Chelsea have a proposal on the table for Hakimi and have agreed personal terms with the player. So, sorry, I know we switched back from Haaland to Hakimi quickly. I'm told personal terms have been worked out with Hakimi and the move is ready to go on the side of things. And that is from SI Phillips Sport right there. So Chelsea Exeter TV have just announced that personal terms have been agreed for Hakimi. Personals have been agreed for Hakimi, and now they're just working out probably the contracts and etc. This side of things. So these things are coming out thick and fast. Please make sure you smash the like button, share on all your socials. Let's try and get people involved. I will put the link in the chat for you guys to come and have your say. 15 minutes in. That's interesting news. That is very interesting news on that one. Scoring in the Harden and scoring in the shed. I'm assuming you're talking about Timo Werner. Big up to Tim Smith is in the chat. Rajab actually said my name right. No one here does. No worries, bro. No worries. Santana Man saying 90 million plus Ziyech or Tammy for Haaland as well. That's what he's saying. Yes, Xavi, I do have a left leg like Robin. And let me tell you something now. We will be releasing a video clip that we done over the weekend of us doing some challenges. So we done crossbar challenges and some other competition as well. You get to see us in action and you get to see who won as well, which I am looking forward for you guys to see. God, there's so many chats here right now. So yeah, that's the news, guys. Chelsea Exeter TV have came out with that news. There's also news from Chelsea Exeter TV from what we were just talking about here. So let's bring it back up again for you guys. The news coming in thick and fast as well. Here it is. Mercato breaking. Chelsea have made 70 million plus Tammy Abraham bid for Borussia Dortmund's Erling Haaland. Dortmund yet to respond to the offer. And yeah, there it is. You know, people are starting to play in. This bid is 100 plus Tammy maybe. I mean, that is a possibility. You know, that is a possibility. Now, what would you guys... What do you think would get Haaland to Chelsea? I want to ask you. So, if Tammy Abraham is a part of this deal, how much cash does Chelsea need to offer to get this deal done? How much cash plus Tammy do you think needs to be done? Because I think 70 mil is a bit low. I would say, I want to tell you what I think we'd have to do in the chat. So I'd say we'd have to do about 110 mil plus Tammy. That's what I would say. That's what I think Chelsea need to do. 110 mil plus Tammy, and I think we'll get the job done. We are at least 30, 40, 50 maybe million pounds worth of cash out on signing someone like Erling Haaland. Real Chris is saying 200 mil. Hey, I don't know. I don't think it will be that high, Chris. I really don't. We need to get him on one of them ladies. We need to get him one of them ladies he has at Dortmund. Said 200. Man said 200. He did. 125 mil is what Joe says as well. People, let's smash them likes. Let's try and get to 40 likes, man. There's 40 people here. Let's try and get to 40 likes. If we can do that, please, that will be massively respected. We're at 25 at the moment, so I was just checking there. Let's try and get to 40. 15 more away. Let's get that done. The link will be in the chat soon for you guys as well. We'll be talking Erling Haaland and his proposed, from what the source is saying here, of 70 million plus Tammy. The news that we heard about Hakimi as well, in terms of personal terms agreed. And now it's just the contracts trying to be sorted, which was released 4 hours ago as well. So Chelsea seem to be full steam ahead. Now, not all of this might be true. Let's just get it right. Not all of this might be true. But, you know, at least we're starting to hear things. To be serious, I thought Chelsea had gone a bit quiet recently. I was thinking to myself, what's going on with Haaland? What's going on with Hakimi? You know, I know these things don't happen all straight away. Artem saying 120 mil plus Tammy. I think you could be right, Artem. I think you could be right. I really, really do. I agree with Sean here, though. 100 to 110 plus Tammy would work. How much is Tammy Abraham valued in the market? That's my big next question for you guys. How much is Tammy Abraham valued in the market? Does anyone know? Do we actually have a specific market value for him? Is there any way we'll be able to find that out? I think Dortmund will reject it straight away. The second bid, they should bid. Yeah, but this is the thing, Deals. This is the thing. That's what Chelsea are doing. They've gone in low, probably knowing that Dortmund are going to decline. But then what I think they're hoping Dortmund will do is say, no. But if you put down on the table... 120 mil cash plus Tammy, will do it, or 100 mil plus Tammy, will do it. So I think Chelsea are just trying to force Dortmund's hand at the moment. I really think we're trying to force their hand, trying to understand who, where, and how we can get this job done. You know, and how we can get this job done. So you guys are saying in the chat that let's have a look. Fato, what you put in? He says super sticker. You just put a £3 super sticker in, but there's nothing on it, bro. Thank you, though. Appreciate that. But for the real, we're not as far as off. So as soon as Sancho to United is done, it will all kick off, and that might force Haaland to want to leave as well. Dortmund could potentially lose Sancho and Haaland in one transfer window and make over 200 million in their back pocket, which they won't be able to do next year. Because why? Because Haaland's contract will drop. Yeah, you're right. They want 150 mil now, but next year there's talks about it going down to a minimum of 70 to 80 mil. So I just think if Chelsea get it right, they put the right money on the table. I think you're right, Erin. I think 110 plus Tammy sounds right. I think 110 plus Tammy does sound right. Could throw Ziyech in there as well. Fuck it. No, we'll keep Ziyech. We'll give him one more season. Yeah, I mean, if we could do that beautiful game, I would do it. But I don't think anyone in their right frame of mind would want Kepa. Tammy's worth 70 mil after the CL. I don't. CFC Arash, do you really believe that, bro? I don't think that's true. Does that mean that Kepa's worth more now because he's just won a Champions League? Is that how it works? Is that what we're saying? 130 million Tammy should do it. Yeah, I hear that. Grant CFC, big up to him, says, my thing is too, Thomas Tuchel wants them players. The club want them. We know Chelsea and Roman, if things go downhill at the start of the season. And I agree. That's true. Chelsea plus Grealish, elite creativity is what Ad says. Your thoughts on how much do you think Tammy Abraham's worth? This is what Santana Man thinks, 20 to 35 mil. G thinks 35 mil. 40 mil. 35 to 40. What else have we got here? I wouldn't add Ziyech. I don't think Ziyech, unless Chelsea didn't want to offer any more money. If Chelsea turned around and said, look, we don't want to spend no more than 70 mil cash on Haaland, and then Dortmund turn around and say, all right, cool. We want 100 and we want 70 mil for cash, and we want Tammy, and we want one more player, and then they end up choosing Ziyech. But if they go for Ziyech, then how much is Ziyech worth? Because he must be a good 40 to 50 mil easily. Any news about Chelsea? Hi, Jim. Yeah, Ian, the news on Chelsea. I'm going to bring it back to you guys. There's 45 of you here. Please smash that like button. Let's try and get to 50 likes. If you're new to GNA TV, please subscribe as well. We'll be bringing a lot more of this for you guys as well, along with the Euro watch-alongs, which is something else we do as well. But the big two news that have come through today in the last recent hours is Hakimi has supposedly agreed personal terms with Chelsea. Supposedly agreed personal terms with Chelsea. They're just trying to sort out the bits on the side at the moment. Nothing in concrete, which I mean, you ain't heard of Fabrizio Romano come out with it, or a Sky Sports, or or a Matt Law, for example, or any of them type of characters. But that's what Chelsea Exeter TV have put forward, that Hakimi has agreed personal terms. The second bit of information is that in the recent hour or two, Chelsea have put a proposed deal forward to Dortmund for Erling Haaland, offering 70 million plus Tammy Abraham, which we all kind of know is quite low. Let's be serious. And I think Chelsea are just trying to force Dortmund's hands. I think Chelsea really are trying to force Dortmund's hand. So, yeah, that's the news for you guys up to now. Would we sell Ziyech? Potentially. I don't know. Maybe. We'll have to see. Pasang says, Haaland, Rice, Hakimi, Varane. Do you think we will sign all these players? No, is my answer to that. I don't think Chelsea can sign. all of these players. I think Hakimi and Haaland is a yes. Rice, I'm still not 100% into. I don't know if it's going to happen, and I think we can get away with not needing a centre back for one more year because Thiago Silva. I think next season Chelsea will go for a centre back. I really do. Fato with a donation, big up to him. This Johnny Sprinker thing, oh my days, Jack Grealish to Chelsea. Oh Johnny, what have you done to the fan base? Yeah, look, I mean, we will quickly just touch on that actually before I release the link as well. Obviously, there's talks about Chelsea being lined up for Jack Grealish as well. There's talks of Chelsea and Jack Grealish happening, and that supposedly Chelsea are at the front runners for him, looking to offer the same sort of money. Now, I'm a little bit confused with the Jack Grealish one because if he comes in, surely players have to leave. Where does he fit in? Who gets dropped? Who goes? Because you got Havertz, you got Mount, you got Ziyech, you got Callum Hudson-Odoi, Werner. If we're going to continue playing in the same way that we played, where does Grealish fit? Because to buy Grealish, he has to start. What happens for Havertz and Mount? Who plays? Do we not buy a striker like Haaland? Do we just play Havertz up front and buy a Grealish and get an Hakimi? Could that happen? I don't think so. I think Chelsea were going to go for a striker. I think this Jack Grealish stuff is nonsense. I think any player that's available or ready to go or playing really well is linked to Chelsea. And why? Because Chelsea are one of the 3 teams in the world that can currently afford these players. Chelsea, Man City, and PSG. We are the 3 teams. We are the 3 teams in world football that can go and buy a Haaland, that can go and buy a Jack Grealish, that can go and buy a Hakimi. No problem, if we're serious. And that's why Chelsea will always be linked to every single player. You guys just got, we've got to take it like a pinch of salt. Really have to take it like a pinch of salt. Until we hear agreed personal terms, I'm not buying that we are close. I truly believe that personal terms are the issue, not the BVB after amount. Yeah, I hear that. I do hear that. Polito's way. 40 mil is what Xavi says. Gem, Tammy's worth 35. God, so many comments in there. Thank you, guys. Massive. 50 of you still here as well. 50 still of you here. Erin says, I would rather us sign Tuchemeni than Grealish because we are in desperate need for a DM. And I hear that. I do hear that. I'll put the link in the chat. So come in and have your say. Coming up to 30 minutes. Smash the like button, please. Please share on all your socials. If you're new to GNA TV as well, please make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. But like I said, the news that's came in, and let's try and stick to topics today, people, as well. Yeah, I want to really stick to the topics that we've got here at the moment. I want to talk about Erling Haaland's proposed move to Chelsea, that Chelsea offering 70 mil plus Tammy Abraham. And I want to talk about the Hakimi supposedly agreeing personal terms at Chelsea. And obviously the other bits on the side being sorted out. There's also the news that Chelsea may look to offload Marcos Alonso as well. Marcos Alonso could potentially go in the way of Inter Milan because apparently Inter Milan are more interested in him than they are Emerson as well. So please make sure you smash your likes. If you've got any questions in the chats, please get involved. We're going to bring in Wayne. We're going to bring in Fata as well. What are you saying, boys? How we doing?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
So what are your thoughts on this? Start on the Haaland news. What are your thoughts on this supposed Haaland deal being, Chelsea offering Tammy Abraham and 70 mil in terms of cash? Do you think I think it's very low, but do you think Chelsea are just trying to maybe force Dortmund's hand to see what they say and maybe they can come back and offer an alternative? What do you think's the sort of setup behind this?
I think it's like a low blow little deal first. I think it's to basically taste the waters because I don't see Tammy being worth the money to get Haaland and that's just pay 70 mil. I think we'll have to pay at least 100 at least. Because Tammy's not worth more than 40 million. He's no way. I know she's the Iron Lady, but I don't think she's that good to get that sort of deal through this deal. But no, I want Haaland, but I think they're just doing a bit of a low blow deal and seeing how it is first, and then maybe go in later on with a more significant deal.
Yeah, I hear that. I do hear that. Fata, what do you think about the proposed Haaland offer?
I think it's just looking at they just want to test the price, literally. I mean, Tammy Abraham, how much does he really worth? Maybe about 20 to 30 million at least. So if we want to get Haaland, then 150 million initial fee, I can see like 130 million plus 24 million or maybe 25-ish for Tammy Abraham. That includes Tammy Abraham. Yeah. And 70, if you want to do some little bit of math, because I'm studying math here, so 70 million pounds plus Tammy is like 170 million good offer. We can even send drink water as well as a bonus. But my only concern is that yes, you can do this like an add-on transaction, play add-on and that, but the only thing that I'm not worried too much about the fee at all, but
yeah,
I'm just worried about the wages. The wages, how high is it gonna be? In their eyes, it's a generous offer though. In 2 seasons, Tammy will become prolific striker in Borussia Dortmund by playing more matches.
Yeah, I hear that, and like I said, I don't really. It's good to see that we're moving. I think we've been quite quiet with the whole Haaland thing, so it's nice to see some sort of news come out on it. But I just don't think. I don't even think Chelsea think Dortmund are going to accept that. I think, like we said, it's more to test the waters, try and understand it. But we have got Beast with us as well. Beast, what's your thoughts on it, bro?
It's testing the waters. It's also trying to see how much Tammy Abraham really is worth, because it say maybe they can like counter offer with much money and they still want Abraham. So it's also to show how what the value of Abraham is as well as testing the waters.
No, I hear that. I do hear that. What do you think we need to put forward? If Tammy Abraham is a part of this deal and Dortmund are interested in him, do you think how much do you think Chelsea will need to offer, including Tammy Abraham?
If I'm being honest, they're not gonna want Tammy. And for a player like Haaland, they've got a guy called Yusuf from Makuku, who they've been nurturing through the Dortmund academy and who's been talked about as one of the best strikers and best finishers. And as much as I think Tammy's like worth 30-20 million pounds, it just doesn't make sense for them getting straight out money that they don't really like. They don't need it. They're selling Sancho. They don't really need them. They don't really need a Tammy Abraham. They probably have someone lined up already. So it doesn't make any sense.
No, I hear that. Dan, what's your thoughts, bro, on this whole Tammy thing? Do you think Chelsea just trying to sort of test the waters with Dortmund, or do you think it's true? Do you not think it's not true? What's your thoughts on that?
I've heard it a few times now, so I'm starting to believe it's actually true that they might want him. Which makes sense. I mean, they took Batshuayi off us, and he was great for them for half a season. And I think our fans have a problem of undervaluing our players more than our board does, right?
Yeah.
When we sell players, we sell them for a premium. So you saying, Tammy's worth 20, 30, you're out your mind. They value him 55, 60. You know what I'm saying? And they're justified in that because, I mean, you see what these other guys are going for out there, and it doesn't make sense. So they obviously value him at 50, 60. They see that Dortmund want him, right? Because we don't usually do swap deals ever unless the other team really wants that player. So, maybe a negotiation can be had, and it's 100 plus Tammy, which is 150, which to me is too much, but I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Chelsea really wants this guy, so I think we'll do anything to actually get him. But I think someone earlier said adding drink water. Yeah, that's not happening. There's no way in hell they're taking him and his wages because
I just think, Dan, I think if Chelsea are going to get, if Dortmund are interested in Tammy Abraham, fair enough. He's still very young. We know Dortmund are very good at getting the best out of youngsters and individuals and then working well with them. But I just think that Chelsea are going to have to at least offer a minimum of anything between 100 and 120 mil cash plus Tammy Abraham to get someone like Erling Haaland across. I don't see them.
We have to understand about Dortmund isn't a team that goes out and gets superstars and brings them into their team, especially strikers, right? Yeah. They usually get them before they become like the world superstars, and if they do get them when they're superstars, they're coming at the end of their career, blah blah blah. The same way we're having issues thinking of strikers, Dortmund is probably having issues thinking of strikers. So if we're selling Haaland to us, who are they going to get? Like we're in their academy. No, Dortmund doesn't do that. They went and got Haaland. He was in the academy before they went to get Haaland, right?
Yeah, and but he couldn't go to the first team because he was at 14, 15.
Yeah, and he's 17 now. He's not coming in to start for Dortmund. Like
but Bellingham starts though.
Huh?
Bellingham starts though, and he's 17.
Yeah, he starts up, but they signed him. Like they already watched him play
but they're all young players.
No, what I'm saying is they watched him play a season in the championship before they signed him.
Yeah, and they've been nurturing Yusuf from Makuku since he came in the academy.
We can have a side bet that they're not going to start with that 17-year-old starting next season.
I'm not saying start, but
they're not doing that.
But after all I've been hearing from a few Dortmund fans, and the way he's been hyped up by other people, other maybe like European fans, he's been scoring like 50 goals in a league season or something like stupid like that. I honestly think they're trying to integrate him. So
no, I'm not.
With Dortmund, you never know because they're the best with young players. So you can never.
I'm not disagreeing with that. that they're trying to integrate him into the team, but he's not going to be their main striker next season. They still need a striker coming in if Harley leaves.
That's true.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
So, and then
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same problem we have is when you're sitting there thinking, all right, if we don't get Holland, who do we get? Most of you can probably give like one name, two names probably, and that's the same problem Dortmund is having: is who can we sign if Holland leaves? So they're looking at the younger option of a decent striker they can build up. So they'll want Tammy.
Yeah, I
I
hear that.
don't.
I do hear that. We've got Winter Surfer with us as well. Winter Surfer, man, what are your thoughts on this proposed Tammy and 70 mil deal?
Talking to a lawyer.
We can't talk about that Werner case. I already sent you legal documents about that, Fato. You can't talk about it on any stream, okay? You'll be breaking the law. If it's true, and I side on the highly doubt that it's true. If it is true, it's just an opening thing. That means, like, I agree with Daniel. That means maybe us Chelsea fans don't rate Tammy that high, but the Chelsea board seem to rate him the price that high. I think if it is true, Dortmund will dismiss it straight away. And I think they'll hold out for me if they do want Tammy. Because remember, this whole including Tammy's got to want to go to Dortmund as well. It's not like the NBA or NFL where you can just swap and send a player wherever you want.
Or FIFA career mode.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they might hold out for 100 million, 110 plus Tammy. If they want something like that. I just personal terms. I don't. I know Feta's worried about personal terms. I'm not. I know. It's personal terms are personal terms. They'll agree them, even if it's high wages compared to everyone else. I'm not bothered about that. But I don't know if this opening bid is true. If it is, it's pretty ballsy by us to go in at 70 million. That's Tammy.
This guy that's sourced it, he's a Turkish guy, funny enough, that Turkish journalist that does a lot of sort of work in Italy as well. So, I mean, there's no concrete evidence to say that what he says is like a Fabrizio Romano type of level, but, at least it's something. But it seems to be being shared a lot around some of the bigger socials, if that makes sense. So, I don't know. Until, for me, I don't really I take a lot of it as a pinch of salt, to be honest. But until you hear the clubs talk about it, or if it comes from someone that's a bit more reputable in many ways, and I don't listen too much to it. But you can't turn your eye to it because there might be some sort of truth to it. That's the thing. So
it doesn't make sense because they're getting £70 million next year. So, like, what's the point?
If it's true, I just think it's an
That's
opening.
True.
Chelsea probably know they're going to reject it, but like it might be what Jem says. It's like smoking them out, essentially, saying to them, okay, then what? Hope they come back and go, no, we want this, and then we can go. Then we can work towards that. So it's probably something like that.
Maybe, yeah. And I think Chelsea are not stupid. I think Chelsea know that probably where Dortmund want them to be. Dortmund have probably told him from the outset, look, this is where we would want for it. But you've got to try your luck with these things. You never put in your first. It's like anything. Your first bid never usually gets accepted, does it? You always try. You try your luck. You try and test the waters and see where you can go with it. And I think the Tammy Abraham thing might just be more of a let's try and see what Dortmund say. And if they're interested in him, because I know Chelsea don't want him there. We know Tuchel don't want him there, and he's not in the plan. So if we can offload a Tammy Abraham and give a bit of cash on top with that as well, then why not? Rather than pay a full 150 mil whack, here's the cash. Do you know what I mean? And still have the issue of Tammy Abraham.
But we're also helped that he's not at the Euros as well. So there's like a Pogba situation at United right now where he's at the Euros. Or like Sancho, we can go directly to the player with no interference, apart from money.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that as well. I want to touch on something else really quickly as well. We will go back to the Haaland. Please smash the like button. There's nearly 60 of you here. If you're new to GNA TV, please subscribe to the channel as well. And yeah, I want to talk about just quickly with you guys because obviously I spoke about it a little bit earlier, but obviously, there's the improved bid for Hakimi as well. There's talks about potential personal terms being agreed, which I'm going to share with you guys as well. What are your thoughts on that? Do you again, is that something we should take with a pinch of salt? Do you think there's a bit of truth to it? Because I read something else a couple of hours ago, and they were saying that Hakimi potentially prefers PSG, but doesn't think it will happen because Inter Milan want
Oh
what
my
Chelsea
days.
has. Yeah, what
Oh
Chelsea
my-
have in terms of players. So Inter Milan want something kind of in return for it as well. So I mean, do you guys? I mean, Wayne, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think it's true? This?
I believe it's true. I think they are. I can see this deal linking into the Haaland deal as well, because I think
Yeah.
if we sign Hakimi first, show our intent, I think then Haaland will say, "Hang on, he knows how good Hakimi is. He's played with Hakimi for 6 months, so he
Yeah.
knows that if we're going to sign Hakimi, that they're intending I can do well here. So I think this deal is quite important for us to get through. I do believe in it. I think going the opposite way, I think Alonso would be going. I think he'd probably be the one, and I hope he is the one as well. But no, I really do think it's a deal that is true, and I think we need to get it done. I think we need to get it done soon as.
Yeah. Does anyone here? Because I know we could all sit here and go, "Yeah, it's kind of true." Does anyone here think that this isn't true, and there's potential that Hakimi might actually not come to Chelsea and he'll go PSG? Is anyone feeling that, or do you think we'll get Hakimi?
I don't know. With how much we've been looking at centre backs and Varane, Marquinhos, we've looked at so many centre backs. Signing Hakimi just rules out any chance of that. And the only way I see Hakimi is if we extend Rudiger's contract. But if we don't extend Rudiger's contract, I think we will have to sign a centre back.
You say that, but if we get Hakimi, it will be affecting Reece James' development in the club. Or if you look at it from Tuchel's perspective, he's going to want to use Reece James as a defensive midfielder, because when Hakimi comes, he's going to fight for his place for sure, because he doesn't want to sit on the bench because he wants to play at the World Cup.
Reece James will go right centre back. Us signing Hakimi.
It depends on the development. You can play right centre back. It depends on Tuchel itself. It also can use as a defensive midfielder. Still,
it confirms the back three though. That's one thing it does do. It does confirm what formation we are playing next season by signing Hakimi.
I think we sign Hakimi. I think centre back priority goes down unless Rudiger will sign a new contract. Then you can see them trying to sell Rudiger. I think Hakimi. I don't think it makes Reece James go to defensive midfield, because I think we're going to try and get someone in midfield. I think what it does is it elevates the whole of that defence in terms of Hakimi can play right wing back or left wing back, although I do want us to sign a backup left back as well. But I think it moves Reece James more in the centre, which means you can rotate Azpilicueta with him. It moves Christensen into the centre, which means he can rotate with Thiago Silva. And then if you don't sell Zuma and you keep Rudiger, you've got them two to rotate there. So essentially, you could have two players very positioned in the back there, which means we can rotate more. And then it leads on, we can get another midfield and we can rotate the midfield as well. That's why I think Hakimi elevates the whole back line, essentially, and the squad in total.
Well, there have been times where we've played Reece James at right wing back and we've said drive a bit more or go past this player, and we've demanded it so many times where maybe if Reece James just ran at defenders more, it could have created more chances, which is why in other games where we've played Hudson-Odoi at right wing back, we've created more chances because he's driving more at the fullbacks and getting them behind.
I think Reece James is more of a defensive mind than an attacking mind. He can attack, but I think he's more defensive. I think he's becoming more defensive.
He reminds me of he reminds me of Ivanovic.
I think Reece James is all about how comfortable he is in the game. You can tell very, very early on what type of game he's going to have. If he's going to push on or if he's going to just keep passing back. Like you can tell from the first 5-10 minutes what Reece is going to do. But also, you can just give him a little leeway. He's 21 and he's just learning how to play that role. So Hakimi has been
Yeah,
playing that role for 3 years now, right? And he's just learning, and we see him getting better. You know what I mean? Like we've seen games with him just going out the left wing back over and over, and we've seen games with him being a little more, pass back, have a safe option, just be a little more solid. I just think with him it's just about time. You know what I mean? Like you can't cap the potential of players at 20, at 21. You know what I mean? If he's playing there all season next season, I think he's going to be excellent there. Like one of his key attributes is passing. His passing
I
into
don't-
the box, right?
Daniel, I
He's a
don't
little
know. I don't know about you, Daniel. I think Reece James is more attacking at right when he plays just right back instead of right wing back.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
I
that.
think he's more.
Yeah,
I think he's
so-
more, which is ironic because
Yeah,
right
He's
wing
only
back
more-
is essentially supposed to be more attacking than right.
You know what it is? I think
it's the
because he's
same
more
thing with
comfortable.
Trent as well. Trent is more attacking at right back, but then when he plays for England, the right wing back is a bit more less
I
defensive.
just want to
Really
just quickly before we go
less
to
attacking.
It's just
Yeah.
what he's comfortable with.
Yeah.
In that role, he's more comfortable, so he tries things more. He goes forward
Yeah.
more and stuff like that. But at right wing back, he's still trying to figure out what am I supposed to do here? Like,
Yeah.
what is my tactical responsibility? Am I letting the wing back go or the winger go or blah blah blah? So he's still thinking about that. You can see he's still thinking. But I think that changes with 15 games, 20 games, 30 games playing in that role. Like he's only played there for half a season.
yeah,
He
I
really
hear that. I do hear what Dan's saying as well on that. But just
To me,
quickly,
getting Hakimi is like getting Donnarumma, right? It's like you're getting a better keeper, you're getting a better player, but do you need to?
not really. But do you know what? Just quickly, someone in the chat's just asked what's Chelsea's wage structure like in terms of because what he's worried about in terms of going back to the Haaland thing is how much will Chelsea look to pay in terms of wages on a weekly basis. If you look at it, Ben Chilwell is our highest paid player, weekly salary of 190,000. Then it's Timo Werner with 170, Christian Pulisic 158, fucking Kepa 150,000 a week. What the fuck?
On
Absolutely.
a 7-year deal.
7-year contract, 4 years there.
Do you know what I mean? 145,000 for Aspie, 144 for N'Golo Kante. So
Underpaid.
the answer to that is we don't spend more than 200k a week on. We're not Arsenal. We don't spend more than 200k a week on weekly salaries. We manage to get good deals in terms of the contracts for players as well. What would Erling Haaland be demanding weekly? I think would probably be in the late 100s, maybe early 200s. That's what I think.
Minimum 300k. Minimum 300k.
Nah, I don't think so.
That's what he's gonna demand.
But if he works
Let's be real, yeah. If Lukaku if Haaland waits a year and he goes for £65 million, most of the money that the club would be spending on Dortmund is gonna go to his wages, and he's gonna get higher money a week. He's not gonna go on 100 late 100k or early 200. He's not gonna do that. When you're a player of Haaland's size, there's so many other clubs that will give him higher wages. Why?
But they wouldn't though.
They would.
That's the worst Christensen.
Just like they wouldn't spend the money now. Like we're talking about the clubs we're talking about is Real Madrid, Barcelona, etc. Who are saying, you know what, next year they're definitely going to offer him 300k a week. No, they're not.
They will.
They will.
I don't much care how much.
Why won't they?
Why won't they? Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? Like, because they're not willing to pay that type of money now. They won't be willing. Like, they haven't done it over the last 5-6 years. Like, Real Madrid has only signed one big player in 5 years, and that's Hazard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only, and he's an established world class who won titles, won leagues, everything else. And Barcelona, even with the kids that they're signing, the level of which they've been signing recently is a Coutinho who's a world class or was a world class player, mind you. Now he's kind of shit, but at that point he was the best player in the league. Blah blah blah. Once Hazard left, cool. Now if you're saying Barcelona, who can't really afford to sign anybody is going to pay 60 million for Haaland and give him 300K a week, they can't afford it. They can't afford
Wait. Can I see like Real Madrid, Barcelona, and PSG, all of their wage structures? Because I'm serious.
Real Madrid wants Mbappe. They wanted him for 2 years now.
Yeah,
right? And he has 1 year left on his deal.
What's stopping them from Mbappe going on the free and then getting Haaland for 70K a week, 70 million pounds, and then getting his wages?
Logic. They're not going to do
Just pay David Alaba 440K.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
On the free though.
I don't really.
Yeah, but 400K a week. That's a lot.
That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Yeah, they've just got money coming out.
Yeah, exactly. So they will spend
it.
Saying they're not going to spend 300K a week. It's nonsense. It's nonsense.
I don't really care what he wants a week.
Yeah, me neither. I don't care either.
Chelsea will negotiate the wages with Haaland, but what I think they will do is they will structure it in a way where you'll see bonuses involved.
Goal bonuses.
He might not get the full 300K a week straight away. They might say, look, we'll give you 220K a week, and if we win the Premier League, or if you hit over 20 goal a season, blah 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 blah, we'll then look to increase it to.
It might be 50K for each goal. Or
you know what I mean? So he's got very young.
I'm just saying.
He's still very young, still very raw, in many ways as well. So Chelsea will try their best to make sure that the wages are down. But Alex,
20K.
Not Alex, Josh. I was saying Alex. Josh, what are you saying, bro? You're right.
Yeah, man. How you guys doing?
Not bad, bro. Not bad. What's your thoughts on both the news of this, obviously, Tammy and 70 mil, and obviously the proposed personal terms agreed for Hakimi as well?
I think the Hakimi deal will get done. We may have to do one more bid. May have to sweeten the pot just a little more for them, but I think they'll do it. They're in a position to have to make that deal. So I think everyone involved wants it. So I think that'll happen probably in another week or two. As far as Dortmund, they'll probably reject that bid of 70 plus Tammy. I think we're going to have to creep somewhere closer to 100 million plus Tammy to get them to budge. And that's if they want Tammy, But I think the deal will probably get done. We're just going to have to. It's going to have to be on their terms with how they want it. We'll do our best to negotiate, but I think you'll have to see somewhere closer to 100. If they're okay with taking Tammy, the money will have to be closer to 100 million.
Yeah, I hear that. I do hear that. Fata, send Lewis the link as well if you can, please, mate, because he's asked for the link. Yeah, I agree. And to be honest, I think if we can get Hakimi and Haaland done in this,
Lewis, check the please. Sorry, thank you.
In this transfer window, then I think we compete. We compete. I actually think we should win it, really, but it just depends what Man City do with Kane, because there's talks about that they're going to put an offer in for him, and there's a potential move for him to go to Man City, which will elevate them massively as well. So it will be definitely between Chelsea and City in the long run.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Lewis, can you hear us?
Yeah. What's everyone saying?
Oh, yeah, come trouble.
What do you think about these? What do you think about these two bits of news? The personal terms agreed for Hakimi, and this obviously news about 70 mil and Tammy for Haaland.
Okay, we agreed personal terms to Hakimi. I didn't even hear that one.
Yeah, I'll show you. It's with Simon Phillips as well, supposedly. So let's have a look.
Did you just wake up, Lewis?
Nah. I've just been sorting out my stream.
Yeah, what time is that? 3, is it?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Chelsea. There you go. Look, Chelsea have a proposal on the table for Hakimi and have agreed personal terms of the player. Told personal terms have been worked out with Hakimi, and the move is ready to go. Simon Phillips is the guy. Come out with that. So, yeah, what's your thoughts on it all, mate?
If Hakimi didn't look any more complete, now it's just a matter of time if we've already agreed personal terms. It's just about sorting out the valuation fee. So it's good that we're going to get one of our main targets in. The question is who goes the other way.
Yeah.
Christensen was it.
Yeah. That was an easy question.
that
Wasn't
ain't happening.
it?
It won't be.
No. You put Mason Mount
It'll be
in
us.
cheeky sweetener.
It won't be a swap deal. It'll be us paying the premium for him and then paying the premium to us. So they probably pay like 30 for Emerson and we'll pay 70 for him.
There you go. What about the Haaland news as well? Do you think there's any real truth in that, or do you think it's just take it as a pinch of salt?
I think it could be. I don't even know if Chelsea think it's going to be accepted. I think they just want to gauge Dortmund's response.
Yeah, it's like a feeler. It's a good feeler deal.
Yeah, I think a good feeler deal, and also, like we said, it's whether they would be interested in someone like Tammy Abraham, because at the end of the day, Chelsea want to get rid of the guy. We know that, so why not be able to get rid of him and offer a little bit of money on the side to be able to do that as well? It makes a lot more sense, and it saves us having to put the 450 mil cash down that they're requiring as well. So, I mean, I don't know how legit it is. I don't even know this guy. I should know him. He's Turkish, but he's a journalist in Italy, but he works for two big firms as well, and obviously his following's quite big as well, so you'd think he's someone that's quite well known, especially in Italy as well. So I don't know, it's all going to be interesting stuff, man. But let's see what people were saying here. We have got to get Haaland, so many things working in our favour for the transfer. One CL, Barca and City can't afford. City want Kane. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys see what Levy said the other day about when it comes to Kane, that they're going to do what's best for Tottenham? So to me, that means if we can get Haaland, there's a good chance they might not even sell Harry Kane this summer. Because you got to think what's best for Tottenham is having a top goal scorer and not selling him to a Premier League rival. So I think that.
Sorry to interrupt, but Harry Kane has to do something which nobody thinks he's capable of, and that's force a move out and do what Lukaku did, do what Courtois did to Chelsea, where you start maybe training with other clubs and forcing your move up, because there's no other way he's leaving Tottenham. You can't, even if he hands in a transfer request, nobody's gonna and for £150 million, it doesn't make sense for anyone to buy him anyways.
Yeah. I hear that. I think they've got the money to do it. I just don't think they'll do it. I think they'll do it. They're in the same sort of position, and they ain't really got any players. They've got players, but I don't think they've got any players that they'd like to offer Spurs for him anyway. So it's one of them ones where it's a bit of a sticky situation. But what's your thoughts on Grealish to Chelsea? I don't really believe it too much, but apparently Chelsea are the front runners for everyone.
Yeah, I don't really believe it too much either.
And available.
Yeah.
Where would he fit in? I mean, you'd have to get rid of. You got Havertz.
But we play,
Mount.
if we sign him and we sign a striker, that means we're playing a fullback. That's the only way they fit everything in. We play a fullback. That means
that's my big thing with
us signing Grealish and Haaland means no Hakimi. That's what that means.
Yeah, potentially, but I still don't think that changes the situation. I mean, for me, you'd have to sell Ziyech. Or someone, or Callum Hudson-Odoi, or someone like that to get him in.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like where does he fit in? Like I heard Johnny on the stream yesterday saying he'd play as a left winger, which I don't see. I just don't see that happening.
Don't listen to Johnny. It's just one of those Johnny Sprinkler thing. I'm not.
To me, the only way Grealish would fit in the lineup is you'd have to drop Jorginho and play Mount deeper, and then play Grealish up where Mount was playing in an attacking midfield role. Like that's really the only way it works.
We're not.
And I don't think they'll do that. So
I think it works in a 4-4-2. So you play two sixes as it's called. You play Grealish left, Mount right, and then Havertz and a striker up top. Havertz as a false nine, running off the striker, or Havertz dropping deep and helping the striker.
Right. Which if we bring in Hakimi, I mean that almost guarantees we're playing five at the back.
Yeah, it guarantees five at the back. So that means no Grealish. It depends on the Hakimi transfer.
Right. And to be honest with you, I'd much rather have Hakimi than Grealish. And I know people like Grealish; he's a good player. But for me, we have. I don't know. I'm with Wayne. Like he's just someone I don't see in a Chelsea shirt at any point. I mean, he's a good player, but we have better players than Jack Grealish, in my opinion.
The thing is with Grealish, he's suited to a team that is like an Aston Villa, where he's the main focus and he's the main player. I don't see him being any better in a team. If he goes to a Chelsea or Man City or Man United, I don't see him doing as well. I don't see him being. I just don't see him being what we call it,
a role player.
Not just that, like
impactful.
Impactful. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't agree. I think Grealish would
have the same role.
I think Grealish would work. I just feel like sometimes players as good as Grealish maybe just need better players around them. I don't think he necessarily needs the ball all the time. It's just with how young our attack is, we need someone we're gonna be able to trust. Like we know what he's gonna do, because at the moment we're so inconsistent. We need consistency. So bringing in someone like Grealish, who normally makes the right chance and normally does the right thing in the final third, would help our attack a lot.
Yeah, I just think it's a load of bollocks.
Yeah.
That's just one of those Johnny Hype, Johnny Sprinkler in it. So
the only reason I can see him being linked is because he gives me Hazard vibes. That's the only.
Oh no! He
Come on,
no, please, you
don't disrespect the legend like that.
I know what he means though. In that,
please don't insult Hazard like that.
The play has to go through him, right? Like he's not a player like that kind of joins the play. But if he did come to our team, that would happen. He's 27. He'll be the oldest player. Well, Ziyech, but Ziyech is shit. He'll be the oldest player, so it's easy for him to kind of take the reins and say, "Pass me the ball." Like I'm leading this.
But we don't necessarily play with like having a focal point of someone who has to have the ball. Like we have a pretty dynamic team where we can attack from all over the place. And if you're asking him, you just want a guy to like one focal point, like we have to get the ball to Grealish for him to be effective. It's kind of a waste to just have one guy on the ball all the time.
I agree. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but if it did happen, I think because that's the only way he knows how to play. Same way Ziyech, right? Ziyech plays, you have to play through him. He has to be the focal point. He has to be the playmaker on the team. It's just we've seen Grealish be that player, and it worked in the Premier League. Ziyech hasn't really worked for him, so we're not playing through him. But I'm not,
I don't think Ziyech is like that. Ziyech just seems like a one-trick pony. Like Ziyech seems like if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it's really bad. If it works, it's really good. If it doesn't work, it's really bad. That's just it. He can't, like, nowadays we're doing all of this high pressing, counter press stuff. Players like Ziyech on the right wing it doesn't help. For press to work, everyone has to be committed.
I'm gonna sort out my stream. I'm gonna jump off, but bless guys.
See you later, bro. See you later.
All right, I'm gonna jump off as well, guys.
See you later. Take care, bro.
I think the problem with Ziyech is he's a player who a lot of what he does is based on the respect other players have for him and his skill. And in the Premier League, they don't respect him whatsoever. Like they don't give him space. He doesn't have time on the ball. With a player like Hazard, if you get way too tight, he's gonna spin you. So you can get tight. You have to give him respect. You have to give him space. You have to, he makes you freeze. And Ziyech's game, when you watch some of his highlights, in Haaland, he used to make players freeze because they respected his skill and his level so much that they won't rush in and blah, blah, blah. But in the Premier League, no one really cares. And he hasn't earned it yet. He hasn't skinned a few players enough where now you have to kind of back off him. And he needs to do that. He needs to have a few games where he destroys players. Then they'll respect him and back him off and let him do his own thing. But if you don't do that, no one's going to let you just have time on the ball and cross every single time, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think Grealish. I think we're being used in the Grealish thing to smoke out City. I think we're being used to smoke out City.
I said it already. Any player, you got to bear in mind, Chelsea, other than Man City and PSG, are the only three teams that can afford these players that are being spoken about. So we're always going to be linked with them. People need to understand that. You know, we're always going to be linked to these type of players. So it's.
We just won the Champions League as well, so all of the brand deals and everything. People, we're gonna get linked to everyone. But
plus, if you get Johnny wants Grealish in, and we stick to this formation, then Grealish replaces Mount.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't want Grealish in.
Yeah,
he replaces Mount.
Mount or Havertz, didn't he? One of the two.
So who's he? Yeah. So
no, like the club won't allow him to bench Havertz. So
no way. Yeah, exactly. No way. Yeah, and he's going to cost.
There's no way.
It's just not going to happen. So Johnny wishing.
And
they're not going to allow him to bench Mount as well.
You think if the club has a say, they'll let him bench Mount?
No, the club won't say that, man. The
club shouldn't say that. They shouldn't say that.
Well, I'm like, I'm sort of sick of these. I'm sort of sick of some of these guys that want to leave their club but just signed new deals like last year. It's like I know he's like, he wants to help his club get money. Well, that's fine, but the club's not going to help you get out for any sort of cheap price. So
why aren't they insisting when they sign these new contracts that clauses in them?
It's ridiculous.
If a Champions League club comes along or something like that, then I think
they won't get it.
Just accept it. Just put it in a clause.
Again, they're not that confident in their ability to keep producing to a certain level. Like once you first get your first huge contract, it's like, am I going to have the same season next season and Chelsea's going to come in or City's going to come in? No, I'm not sure. So I'm going to sign this 150, and if they really want me, they'll pay the money for me.
Yeah, I just think that Jack Grealish it just doesn't make any sense.
Jack Grealish is going to become another Zaha. It's going to become another Zaha.
Exactly. Like Zaha, to me, that's the biggest example of this. Is like Zaha wants out every single year. He wants to go to like Arsenal or whatever. It's like, well, dude, you just signed a deal for a little extra money per season, as opposed to just waiting. Well, he could have waited one summer and been at Arsenal on a free. It's like
I think people keep forgetting it. Jack Grealish is going to turn 26 this year.
Yeah.
He's not like he's 22 or anything. Like I know it's still young, but you know what I mean. It's like people keep like thinking he's like the same age as Mount or a Foden or something like that.
Yeah, he needs to leave.
Yeah,
I think he deserves a move though. I think he's
fine. I just don't. For us, we've had to change a lot just to.
Plus, the rumored price is around £100 million. Yeah, man.
Also, he has to think: is he going to be the same player he is now? Once he moves to a bigger club, and is he just better being a big fish in a smaller pond, right?
He's a whale in a tea drop at Villa. He's a whale in a tea drop.
This is why you want to see him play for England, don't you? Because
but Villa are getting better though. They just signed Buendia. They've got Ollie Watkins. They've obviously they've got. I rate Matthew Cash to a certain extent. Matthew Targett, Ezri Konsa. Emi Martin, they've got a decent team. So
he can be like Vardy. You know what I'm saying? Like hopefully,
we'll take Grealish. We'll take Grealish. We'll just knock 40 million off the one we want for Barkley, and then just pay him 40 million. So if you want Barkley, there you go. We'll take slash 40 million off. We'll just take Grealish as well. Cheers. Thank you very much. Ridiculous. Just ridiculous. This transfers.
It's definitely for me just paper talk 100%. Like,
it's not even London paper talk. It's Birmingham paper talk. It's like it's from
I think it initiated in Spain. I think they were Spanish rumors originally.
Yeah, and then it was in the Birmingham one. It's not even any of the Chelsea journalists aren't even picking it up. So
what do you think? What do you think is more realistically going to happen for Chelsea? Like out of all the Hakimi, obviously the Haaland, obviously the Grealish has now been brought in. Like what seems more realistic to Chelsea? Do you think?
Hakimi and Haaland.
Hakimi is happening just because Inter want to sell, and I think we have players that they really want, and they've been wanting it for years now.
And I think he wants to come too. So that's the big deal. So he
We'll get
wants to move.
Hakimi. I think we'll get Hakimi for between 55 and 60 plus a player. I think that's what we'll get him for.
There was also talks about him wanting to not come Chelsea and play for PSG, but
I think that's put in there to get our arse in gear, basically.
Yes, Hassan.
I was gonna say, bro, there's a massive you know how the journalists were going in and out between Bentia saying that he signed for Arsenal and all that. It's all a massive problem. Apparently, some reports are saying he's a great person. Some haven't. Some says it's all over the place. So I don't know.
There was a report PSG are maybe going to sign Serge Aurier.
It's a massive. I say nothing. I feel like once the fee is agreed, it's literally up to the player.
Yeah, I agree. I think at this point, with all the targets we're going after, it's up to the player. Like we'll pay what we got to pay to get them. We can do the personal terms, no problem. It's do they want the move? If they do, then we can make it happen.
Yeah,
I think Hakimi wants the move, and it's great. The biggest outlier to me on that is that PSG are already looking at secondary targets. If they thought that they were going to get Hakimi, they wouldn't even be focusing on anybody outside of him. So I think that bodes well for us that they're looking at other players already.
I was gonna say with Haaland, I think it's just the wage structure. I don't think the pricing is the issue.
Yeah, I hear that as well.
It depends.
They'll work it out to where he gets what he wants. Like Andrew was saying, there'll be some sort of, and Jem was saying this too. There'll be some sort of bonus. It'll probably be like a base 225, 250 maybe, and then
it's like the Havertz deal where if he hits his bonuses, like win the Champions League and stuff, then he gets that payment.
You might get a really good sign-on bonus or something, and some good bonuses added.
Yeah, there'll be goal
don't think
bonuses,
we want
win
him to break.
bonuses. Yeah, trophy bonuses.
I think that's the way to do it, though, isn't it? All right, you're buying a player of quality, but that player's got to prove himself still, isn't he?
Yes, you're right. So, but maybe there's an incentive to hit so many goals. In like 2 seasons, then your wage gets boosted again. Do you know what I mean?
If you don't give them an incentive,
that's what I mean.
Get what they want, they're not going to play well, are they? Like you need to
this is why. I was going to say this is why Chelsea Football Club is like one of the most ambitious, because the way the structure works at Chelsea, if you've read from the Athletic and stuff, Roman does not pay. Roman only pays bonuses if you actually win stuff, not participate. So that's why players and stuff like with the Havertz, with this including bonuses 310 grand a week. He only gets that 310 grand a week if he wins the Champions League and Premier League. He doesn't get it just by participating.
Yeah, maybe the incentive is if you hit 50 league goals in 2 seasons, then we boost up your wages or something like that. I don't know. It'll be something.
There's definitely goal bonuses, appearance bonuses, stuff like that are always put in there. But the base salary is probably going to be low. Like we're always going to keep that
about
under 200K.
Yeah, I think it'll be 250. Yeah, between 200 and 250. I think it'll
be under 200.
It'll probably rise to like 350 if he wins like the Premier League and Champions League, which is
you get an extra $2 million for playing 30 games, and an extra $3 million for scoring 20 goals. Like that's how it, that's how it works.
That's the way it works, isn't it? That's exactly how it works, Dan. You don't. It has to be
like. Hakimi coming in, if he was older, I wouldn't be okay with it because it's not an area we really need. But because he's so young and he's so good, and he can still get better, I have no problem with that. And with him coming in and figuring it out with Reece and the other kid, what's his name?
Livramento.
Yeah.
You've never heard Chelsea fans say his name so much in the past month. Nothing before that. But in the past month.
I don't know who that is.
And Andrew, if they only had the same energy for Lewis Baker and Gahey and all that.
Lewis Baker is 5'4", man. He's 5'4". It's not going to work.
To be honest, I didn't know who the guy was until he got mentioned in the bench.
Or why are they bigging up Lewis Bates? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I've heard of Baker before. Bento.
Lewis Bate in the team at the moment.
Hasn't he got his own like special episode in one of the Chelsea?
Have a good one. Thank you.
No, because I saw one of the Chelsea episodes. He has his own special episode, man.
I hear that. Listen, people, smash that like button. We're nearly at 60 likes. We're like 2 away from that, so appreciate it massively. It's been, 50 to 60 of you all the way through, which we appreciate massive on GNA TV as well. We will be bringing you some more news as it goes along, but the news that we've heard, I'm just going to repeat to you guys again, is obviously with the Haaland situation. 70 million cash plus Tammy Abraham has been offered, which has been quoted by Simon Phillips. And the other big news we heard today was Hakimi agreeing personal terms with Chelsea. It's just now sorting out all the side bits of the contract to sort of bring him in as well. Let's see if any of that is actually concrete and true in the next sort of upcoming days that are coming up. But it's going to be an interesting time. It's going to be, what you say, Hassan?
I said probably weeks because the Euros is on. Isn't Hakimi playing in Euros?
No, Hakimi's Moroccan.
Yeah, no, he's Moroccan, isn't he? Yeah. God, yeah.
Oh yeah. So it's probably gonna be.
Very interesting. Guys, thank you all for coming on. I'll talk to you all in a bit. Take care of yourselves. Have a good day, and we'll see you again very, very soon.
VIP, still key. Like bando, bitch, oh please, yeah. Brand new whip, no keys, yeah. Get down on knees, yeah.